All right, my name is Keith Folk, manager of the Boston Hunters. And just game recap, yeah. Well, you can't win them all, they say, right? So you start on the bottom and you can only go up. You know, we went out there, we played, the positive thing is we played good defense. After we got through the first part of the game when, you know, they threw up a bunch of runs, the relief pitchers came in and really kept us in the ball game, so that was a huge plus. Again, the defense, for the most part, played really well, kept us in the ball game. Denver made some great plays at third and, you know, kept us in the game. And, you know, we didn't hit as well as we want, but, you know, the first time on the field under the lights for these guys, so it's the learning experience for everybody. You know, we work hard during the week, and I assume when we come back out on Wednesday, we'll be just that much better.
Craven Dew. Keith hit on all of it. We played defense well. Got to see some live pitching, so that was, I mean, it's always a start there. I think after this week, like, we get to kind of see what we want to work on and get ready for Wednesday.
Denver Bryant. I think today we just was figuring it out, getting all our nerves out. I think we did pretty good as a team, getting behind our pitchers. I think we just need to have a little bit more fun and get a little loose, but all the jitters are out, so we should be looking good come Wednesday.
Allie Schroeder, yeah, I think they hit on all of it. Tough game, but good to get the first one out of the way. It's always hard when you come together as a group, you know, 4 or 5 days ago, and then you're thrown into a game situation, but also good for us to recognize what we need to work on, and, you know, those pieces have been identified now, and we got stuff to work on during the week, and we'll be back Wednesday stronger.
Hi there, Marissa and Jamie, LA Times. Keith, just for Dumais to come in and pitch the way she did and kind of stop the bleeding for you guys, how good was that to see that performance from her?
It's huge, especially coming from her. She's, I think she's 18, 19, just fresh out of high school. So it's, you know, it's one of those things where we've talked to our players about it, and we've talked about it post-game also is, you know, they put certain positions on their scorecard, you know, on their lineup, but it's going to be a team effort. For her coming in there and, you know, like we say, stopping the bleeding, big double play to end one of the innings, it kept us in the game. You know, it's, you know, and that's what we need. We need, you know, pretty much everybody's going to pitch on this team. Everybody's going to play infield. They're probably going to play outfield. You know, everybody has to be very versatile. But when she came in and did that, you know, it stopped the bleeding. You know, it gave us, you know, gave everybody a little hope that, you know, a couple hits here and there with runners in scoring position, it would have been a different ball game. But, you know, like I said, the back half of that game, we played a lot better after everybody's kind of settled down. We have some really good hitters. We didn't really show that today, but I think a couple more days of work, you know, get some of the nerves out, and, you know, we're going to come out Wednesday a better ball club.
And Denver, just you mentioned just kind of loosening up a little bit and that being important for you guys. I think I saw you out there dancing for a little bit to Miley Cyrus. For you, like, what is that balance of, like, having fun and also being competitive?
I think having fun for me is the way I play. Like Deion Sanders said, you look good, you feel good, you play good. So I try to keep my mind and keep everything just flowing and stuff like that. So that's why I dance and get in my own rhythm.
Howard Magdal, the Nine Sports. Allie, if I could start with you. You know, you've played with so many of these players, both for and against, but what was different and what stuck out to you about this format of these 4 teams playing together this weekend? What do you feel like we learned from these 2 games?
Yeah, I think you mentioned we've played together. We've played together, but mostly against each other in the World Cup circuit, right, playing for our respective national teams. So to have quite literally the best in the world now on similar teams playing against each other is the best women's baseball that we've ever seen. And I think, you know, the last 2 games we got to know how each team is going to play and the style they're going to play with. I think identifying that and taking our approach and figuring out how we're going to approach our upcoming games is going to be huge for us.
Keith, I know for you, you've had the opportunity to see Kelsey a little bit in spring training, but, seeing her on the mound here in a competitive moment, how would you describe your scouting reports on her, having seen her pitch tonight?
Well, she's literally one of the best players in the world. So, I haven't seen her play a whole lot, but obviously online I've seen what she can do. She plays for the Bananas and all that. And there's going to be some athletes out here that are, they're better than the other ones. Just the experience, the amount of games that some of these guys get to play, is we have some guys that are playing all the time, and we have some of our players who haven't played in much ball at all. So it's going to be, up to the rest of us to try and catch up to athletes like her, to try and raise the bar, get our team up on, that same level or as close as we can be to go out and compete every night.
Just to drill down into that a little bit, she was talking about how she's very comfortable throwing her secondary pitches early in counts, early in the game. Do you see somebody who has maybe like a greater mastery of her repertoire, and as that is sort of one of those things you mean by sort of a catch-up?
I mean, she's she's basically been a professional player, a high-level player for a number of years. And like I said, we've got Micah. She just graduated high school. So when you think about some of the discrepancy between some of the players, there's a big difference. So it's we're going to tip our hat to her. She did a great job, but ultimately the more we see that high level pitching, defense, hitting, it's going to raise our level eventually. Like I said, we've only been here for just over a week. So, there's work for us to be done, and I'm sure every team has, athletes, same thing. We all want to raise our level to her. She's not coming to us, I can guarantee you that. They're coming down.
Jen Schmidt, Team Schmidtley on socials. Historically, women baseball players have had to adjust to equipment made entirely for men or for softball. What's the most frustratingly designed piece of equipment you've had to deal with before coming to the WPBL?
Probably women's uniforms. I think that every girl in this league would say we prefer unisex or male uniforms because the way girls' pants and jerseys fit are not how we want our uniforms to fit us as baseball players.
I would say the hats. My hat was falling off the whole time today. So, but just to piggyback off of Allie, I would say the uniforms as well.
For Denver and for Allie, just what Keith was just saying there about the level being raised as you guys play a little bit more too. Just how excited are you guys for that experience to have like consistent games? Because I know there haven't been that many opportunities. I've talked to a few people who said like the longest they've played together as a team is like 3 weeks. So to have this opportunity for 6 weeks plus with playoffs and everything, like how cool is that to know that you have that time to like hone your skills?
Yeah, women in baseball are like an interesting dynamic. I think that the only girls that are playing actual baseball seasons right now, other than the ones that are playing college baseball, are the handful of girls playing banana ball. Everybody else is in a situation where we come together with a team for an event, which is, like you mentioned, like 3 weeks is probably the height. Like with the national team, we meet for 1 week out of the year and play against each other in our World Cup, and then that's it for the next year. So for me to have, a season now is like the first time I've had a season since college baseball. I'm super excited because consistency is huge in baseball. You need to be working on things and not just working on things, but you need to be playing the game consistently. You can do as much work in the cage and the bullpen as you want, but if you're not seeing live pitching, seeing live batters, it doesn't really matter that much. So I'm super excited to see not just myself, but other players in the same boats develop the same way.
Hi, Amanda Golka, Swell Entertainment. One thing that I've noticed over the last 2 days of playing is the batting helmets seem to have trouble staying on your guys' heads. Do you guys are those your personal helmets? Are they provided? Are there different sizes for you guys? Because that's something, I've never seen this many helmets fly like this.
They're provided for us. Honestly, I really like my helmet. So I don't know. I don't seem to be having that issue, but I would say that as female baseball players, we don't play with the one ear flap a lot. That's kind of a thing we see in the big leagues for the dudes. So I think maybe some girls just getting used to playing with the one ear flap is a bit of a thing.
I just have a big head.
Hi, Howard Mandel, 9 Sports again. A couple of just technical things. Denver, you're listed as second baseman, but you obviously were excelling at third tonight. Can you just kind of take me through both positions, all positions, or where do you feel most comfortable?
I think I feel comfortable everywhere. My coaches did a great job of moving me around in practice to make sure I was ready everywhere as far as in where they needed me to be. But yeah, I feel like a true infielder can play anywhere around. So as long as you get on the ground and you get dirty, you'll be all right.
Makes sense. And then there's really for both of you guys about this, Allie pitched an inning, obviously game coming up on Wednesday. Keith, do you have a starting pitcher at this point, and is Allie in the mix for it?
I do.
Okay.
I don't want to give anything away, but I'll tell you who she is in this room. I can't. Top secret. I don't want to reveal anything to give the other team any advantage. But real quick, on Denver, right?
Yeah.
So I think this week we've had her at every infield position besides first. And she's done really well because she works really hard. She's got great fundamentals. But I know for me, after seeing her action at third tonight, it's like, ooh, I don't know if we're going to be able to top that with anybody. So you might see her back there quite a bit more. She dominated that position tonight. Yeah.
Meg Hamer with WPBL Water Cooler. We were having we were having a discussion in the media room about terminology. Typically, second baseman, third baseman, first baseman. What do y'all want to be called? Base person? Like base woman? You get to define it.
I mean, me personally, I'm impartial. Like, I think terminology has been in baseball for as long as we can remember. And I don't think any of us really think twice about it. I think it's just a game, and it's a game we've always played. So to change it now doesn't make much sense.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah, let's hear from Walter. That's all.